Well, we're joined now by two young people who certainly are engaged in politics. In our Westminster studio is Jack Duffin, who's 22 and chairman of UKIP's youth organisation, Young Independents. And with us in the studio is William Dyer, who's 20 and policy officer at London Liberal Youth. Gentlemen, very good afternoon to both of you. Jack, if I can start with you, Jack Duffin, what is it about UKIP that appeals to young people in your view?
It was education that brought me over to UKIP. Having a party that it didn't matter if you went to comprehensive school, you weren't considered a failure. Because currently, if you're not getting that academic degree and going to university, you're thrown to the side. But UKIP believe in a policy where, whether you're academic or technical, you should be able to go in and flourish in your career. Because in 1997, when Tony Blair came in, it meant that you had to go to university. There was a 50% target, and that meant quality apprenticeships dried up. UKIP are the only party going out and saying, actually, we should be bringing these back, and just because you're not an academic, you're not a bad person.
OK, William Dyer, let me put that question to you. What is it about the Lib Dems which have policies that appeal to young people, do you think?
Well, I mean, firstly, I'd just like to say to Jack, UKIP have a policy of grammar schools where they have this thing where you have to take an 11 plus, taking us back to the 1950s, where it's a two stream. So you automatically 11 get cut off. With the Liberal Democrats, what we've done is we've created 1.5 million apprenticeships in this Parliament, more than any other. And also, let me address tuition fees to start off with. What we've done with tuition fees is made sure that those on the lowest incomes are actually have an opportunity to go to university. And we're actually seeing in the figures that this year, the largest amount of young people from disadvantaged backgrounds are going to university, and that's really positive.
Jack Duffin, I know you wanted to come in on that point that we heard from Will.
Can I just say, on the grammar schools, UKIP have a policy that you can cross over, and it's not just academic and the old 11 plus, because that didn't work. It's about having a system where, we've seen in the elitist report recently, if you don't go to private school, then you're no hope of getting to Oxbridge and the best places and the best jobs in this country. And while you've still got the toffs and the other class running the top of the Liberal Party, the Labour Party and the Tory Party, you're only going to have people interested in more elitism. We've actually got UKIP, who are the blue-collar working class party, standing up for millions of people in this country that can't afford to go to private school.
Well, what the Liberal Democrats believe in is opportunities, and I don't think a grammar school system will give young people the real opportunities that they need. They need to pursue their own career and the career that they want to. For us, it's all about opportunities and making sure that young people can really go and take the career that they want to. That's why in this government we've created 2 million private sector jobs, and we've created the pupil premium, which maintains that those on the lowest incomes, those children that are disadvantaged in life from an early age, can get that help and support that they need in school right early on.
Jack Duffin, I get the sense from both of you that education is clearly very important. Do you think, as far as UKIP goes, that that's a message that's getting out there? Because I think most people would think the policies they know about from UKIP are really about their ideas concerning Europe and immigration.
Well, it's partly a double-edged sword, because the press, they phone us up for quotes when they want to know about Europe and immigration. We've got a full manifesto, which will be coming out, the majority of it in Doncaster at our conference in September. But the more you look at UKIP's policies, they're fully there now. We're growing as a party. I joined UKIP for the education policy, was the major reason for me. And there's thousands of other young people joining. Yes, we agree with an immigration system where everyone around the world should be treated equally, and have a points-based system like Australia. Have control of our own country, because leaving the EU would allow us to do that. And interestingly, on tuition fees, because of EU policy, if you come from Spain, Germany, and you go to Scotland, you can get free tuition fees. Whereas if you come from England, Wales or Northern Ireland, you actually have to pay to go and study in Scotland. And that isn't fair for the British taxpayer that's actually subsidising that.
I would take issue with Jack on the fact he's saying that UKIP are treating people all around the world equally when they continue to demonise people from around the world, people from around Europe who want to come here to work, to study, to go to university and really get the qualifications here that they possibly can't even get in their own countries.
Jack, do you want to come in on that?
Yeah, I'm not really going to take the word of someone who obviously backs Lib Dems. They lied to us on tuition fees. They'll lie to us again. Nick Clegg's made promises, and when he stood up with Farage, he said, oh, you better read the small print of my promises, because obviously he's not a man of his word, and you can't trust anything the Lib Dems are going to come out with.
Let me just come in and ask you another question, because we can carry on talking about education and tuition fees, but let's talk to you about what other policies the Lib Dems have to offer to young people.
So for young people, we're looking at income tax, especially in this government. We've raised the lower threshold of income tax. Basically what that means is a £600 real terms tax cut, and also raising the minimum wage above inflation. So when young people start work, they're looking at a higher minimum wage in which they can start earning, and then they can really carry on and take the opportunity to really go on and further on their career.
Jack Duffin, how much of a problem do you think it is for UKIP that at the moment they don't have any elected Westminster MPs?
Well, you've only got to give us 4 weeks now and we'll have our first. But it's changing.
You're talking about the Clacton by-election, aren't you? We don't know exactly when that's going to be, but, you know, may go UKIP's way, may not.
Well, the poll out only yesterday, we saw 64% of people saying they're going to vote UKIP and 2% of people saying they're going to vote Lib Dem. That has to be the most damning thing I've ever seen of a party that's supposed to be in government and leading this country. There obviously isn't working and the people are speaking. So we're sure to see they might get more than 2%, but I can't see them saving their deposit in Clacton. So the people have spoken and they're not agreeing with what the Lib Dems are doing.
Well, I mean, in Clacton, it's a part of the UK that we've never really done well in. But, I mean, it's a real problem for David Cameron. I mean, he's got a party where he's losing MPs, and I think UKIP are going to do very well in this election. But the one thing for sure is the Conservatives are going to make sure it's a very long and drawn-out campaign, and they're going to try and hammer away at UKIP and try and regain that seat.
Can I just ask you briefly, both one last point to you first, and that is, it's great that you're both so engaged with politics, you're so enthused, you're energetic, you're passionate about it. What do the leaders, or what does the leader of the Lib Dems need to do to engage other people your age who are just disinterested, disenfranchised?
Well, I think one of the main things that Nick Clegg needs to do is implement political education into schools. That way, I've heard a lot of people on your videos talking about this, young people can be informed about what politics is all about, and they can make informed decisions as to where they want to go. OK,
Jack Duffin, to you as well.
I think Nigel needs to keep doing what he's doing. The best selling point of Nigel Farage and UKIP is they're blunt. They say it how it is, they say it how the people out on the street are seeing life and things changing. So I think it's about time we had some politicians that aren't going to mix it up in a million words of spin and lie through their teeth. We're just going to have politicians that are going to tell you the truth and get the job done. Well,
let's hope so. That'd be a good day, wouldn't it? Jack Duffin, William Dyer, thanks very much for joining us and for your views today. Thank you.
Thank you.